Most of what I was told about creating cinematic videos was completely false, and I see it in other people's footage too. We tend to focus on the wrong details, and I want to share something I've learned creating videos as my full-time job. First of all, I want to say that I don't consider myself a master cinematographer by any means. However, there's one aspect in particular I noticed working on different projects. And it's that getting a cinematic look requires a very different type of mentality than what you're commonly told, especially on YouTube. I got all these shots on a super budget-friendly beginner camera, and I'm going to tell you all about the gear and settings a little later in the video. Now, when you make videos, you have two sort of categories where you can spend your resources. The first is the technical side, and the other is what I call the qualitative side. And what most people choose to do is invest all of their resources, so their time, money, and focus, on one side. This commonly is the technical side. I did this too. We obsess over cameras and gear, and we forget to invest in this other category. The one thing that will have the biggest impact on a small production is not the camera, but the location. The images you saw at the beginning were recorded in a mountain river gorge in Germany, and I noticed the exact same thing here once again. When I hit record, the chance that the image came out in a way that really satisfied me went through the roof. See, while aspiring video shooters like to focus on what camera to buy, most professionals really focus on something else. Where can you shoot? What do you have access to that will give you an image that looks completely different from what other people have, regardless of if you have an iPhone or a $10,000 rig? But that's not the only thing. When we went to this mountain, we had to make a choice. We could either go on Friday or Saturday. Friday was going to be really sunny, but too hot. Saturday would be cooler, but there was a small chance of rain and the weather would be mostly cloudy. Now, most people would have chosen Friday. You have tons of natural light that bounces around, creating unique shadows and super vivid colors, which will make for a conventionally satisfying image. But we chose Saturday. When we went there, the trail was almost completely empty, and instead of sunlight, we got this misty, cloudy, mysterious weather that looked like something out of a dark crime thriller, and the result was pretty awesome. Now, I'm not saying that we made the objectively right choice here. That depends on what you want to create. However, that decision of when to go had a much greater impact on the final result than deciding on what camera I should take. And that's what I've seen in my professional life as well. The people who create great images focus more on the locations or the weather, then the set, props, costumes, and everything that's in front of the camera. But I get it, gear is fun, so what camera did I use here? I used the Canon R50V with the Sigma 18-50mm lens with a variable ND filter, all for just about $1,000. I got this a few months ago and I'm really happy with it. This is not a professional camera. I mean, you can get the body alone for close to $500. And sometimes people give me a little bit of a weird look. Why this small camera? Well, here's how I look at it. I would much rather spend the budget and resources I have traveling to lots of cool locations and getting great shots, or maybe making a little short film. Additionally, I know that if I were to get the cinema line cameras from Sony or Canon, that I would not just spend more on the body, but the lenses as well. You also typically have to get a bigger gimbal if you want one. Then you need the much faster SD cards to support the incredibly high data rates. You see, when you buy a camera, you have to understand that it's not always a one-time payment. You of course upgrade it and build different rigs and attach things onto it. And the more you spend the first time around, the more you will spend throughout the lifetime of that camera. And you know, if you like it or not, this is all money you're taking away from traveling or paying actors or crew for a short film. In other words, the things you actually want to film with that camera. If anything, buy one that is like congruent to your lifestyle. Yes, an FX3 takes much better videos than an R50V, but realistically right now, I would only have downsides by getting one. I would spend more on the body, lenses, and memory cards. On top of that, the camera is heavier and takes up much more space. All things that actually kind of matter when you're traveling or walking around with a camera for 8 hours. Of course, all of that also means that you don't want to skimp on gear either. If you're recording an event all day, any camera without active cooling will simply give up after a few hours. I realized that buying cameras and researching gear will maybe take up 5% of your time. That's being generous too. Most of your time is spent finding what to actually film, in what direction you should stand so that the sunlight will be optimal. Where do you go? Seriously, just knowing the city where I'm in helped me more than understanding how digital sensors work. Like, knowing the good places in your city can be a great investment for your time. Something that will pay off far more than saving up every penny just so you can get that one special lens. Anyway, I hope that this can maybe help you craft more special images. Don't research cameras all day. Research great things to film. Spend time on that. As always, I hope you liked it and subscribe to see more videos like this. Bye guys.